William Pellerin is my guest. He's an international trade lawyer at the law firm Macmillan LLP. William, thanks for your time. Good to have you back with us here. Appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday.
It's been great being here, Todd.
Yeah, so we're going to bring up that graphic again if we can. I'll just get the control room, the Japan deal, and you're familiar with it. I know you've been looking into it in earlier hours here as this was announced. I mean, what does that say to you, William, about what Canada may or may not expect from any kind of deal with Trump? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a really valuable data point, right? It gives us insight into what countries are able to achieve. Japan has an important trading relationship with the United States, so this is more of an apples to apples comparison for Canada. Of course, Canada's relationship is far more integrated across the border than Japan's economy is with the United States, but it's still a good, valuable piece of insight into what might be achievable and what's the U.S. kind of baseline minimum tariff that might have to stick. So right away, I see they scored some reduction in auto tariffs based on what they otherwise could have been. But of course, the tariffs, as you pointed out a few minutes ago, are still 4 or 5 times higher than they were before the president took office in January. They did not successfully get their steel tariffs removed, which is one of the very important sticking points for Canada. Those are those sectoral Section 232 tariffs. So a lot of really interesting data points that we're seeing there. And I think it gives us a little bit of insight into the U.S. administration's mind right now.
Yeah, and, people at home are probably familiar. The Japanese, very close allies with the Americans, and they're going to be hit with a 15% tariff. So are we. And so, is there any way to avoid that? It almost seems, William, that the president has basically said, look, no country will be exempt from tariffs. We're not going back to 2 or 3%. There will be a baseline of 10 or 15%, even for close allies. And that's the reality. And if you don't like it and you threaten, retaliatory tariffs, that number will start to go up to 20, 25, 50. I mean, the president can pick any number he wants out of the air and hit a country with it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think there's still some level of optimism that Canada can fare relatively well. I think the sticking point for Canada has to be the sectoral tariffs, those auto tariffs, steel and aluminum in particular. We're looking at copper and lumber and the like. I think those are really the ones that have to go. Beyond that, if we're able to get to a deal that has a residual tariff, but that doesn't apply to CUSMA or USMCA goods that are actually really made in Canada from North American inputs, and those are exempted, then maybe that's something that's livable. And I think we saw Premier Smith's comments from Alberta on exactly that point, that really the sectoral tariffs, those steel, aluminum, autos, and the like, those are the ones that Canada has to work on making sure that they go away. Look at the Japanese deal. So they got the auto piece reduced somewhat. We're not successful on steel. So that's an important data point that even those sectoral tariffs that we had some optimism could disappear for Canada might still be on the table if we're looking at what's in the U.S. administration's mind.
Looking forward to talking to you again if we can make that happen, William. Thanks for this in the meantime.
Real pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah.